Hello everyone, thank you for being here today. In this video, I will show you how I crafted a rustic interior wall as part of a diorama where I'm building in detail a medieval kitchen interior. I use XPS foam as base material for the walls. The complete build is of 3 wall pieces and the interior side of the rustic facade I built in a previous video. I'll put the link to it in the upper right corner if you want to check it out. In this video, I'll concentrate in one of the walls only, showing in detail how I crafted it. After I mark the position of the blocks in the wall, I use an X-Acto blade to start carving the spaces between blocks, also cutting some of the corners to accentuate the idea of an old, worn-out wall. Then I use a rough stone to create some texture on the XPS foam in the parts where the blocks would be visible. To begin the painting process, I started by applying a black acrylic primer. Then, as base color, I use Vallejo Game Color Leather Brown, combined with acrylic titanium white, to create several tonalities of brown, applying several coatings to create a variety of tones on the surface. Then, to enhance the texture of the blocks, I dry brush with Game Color Bone White, using a makeup brush. As final touch for the blocks, I made a very liquid mix of gypsum plaster colored with Game Color Leather Brown and pour it between the blocks. This process was done with the four walls of the room. Once the gypsum mix was in process of curing, I scraped the excess mix from the surface, also with the purpose to create a rough texture in between the blocks. Now it's the turn of covering and texturing the rest of the surface on the walls. For this, I also use a gypsum plaster mix, colored also with leather brown, but this time I added white school glue to make a more plastic mix. And also it helps to retard a little the curing process of the plaster, having a little more time to spread it properly on the surface. After the plaster mix cured, I wasn't quite satisfied with the final texture. I think it was too rough for an interior wall. So I decided to give it a little sanding. Now, with the wall plaster cured and sanded, I proceeded to give some coloring with pastel powder. After coloring in different tonalities, I finished by applying a coating of oil-based varnish. This to seal and secure the plaster and pastel colors to the surface. For the window frames, I used two types of wooden sticks. The first were wooden popsicle sticks, and the second were some square section sticks, which I cut in half in a rough way to create the worn out window frames. For these pieces, I applied a coating of brown and black acrylic wash. And finally, I glue them with white school glue.